We do. We do need walk-up music. So first order of business as we launch the last word on Friday, August 15th is this. We're going to put a vote up to the people. 2 votes. Vote number 1, do we need an intro song for this show? And vote number 2, what should the song be? So use the comments. Let us know if we should get an intro song and what that should be. And then, of course, we'll have to figure out how to do that. Okay, guys, we are the last word, part of the Chrisman commentary. Whoops, hold on. I hear myself over here. I don't like that. There we go.
You sound great.
Oh, thank you. So do you, by the way. Guys, KP is getting ready to go work the pits in the F1 race this weekend with his new headphones on. Couple things, guys.
Yes.
I want to make a public service announcement before we get into the topics of the week. It is August, and it is the advocacy in August. Every August, the Mortgage Bankers Association, through the Mortgage Action Alliance, uses this kind of quiet time in DC to really get the word out among the industry, among all of us, of what the heck MAW does, Mortgage Action Alliance. And so I know early in the year, right before the advocacy conference, we spent a lot of time talking about the great work they do. And I'm going to ask everybody to take a moment and text MAA to 50457, renew your annual membership. And then in the comments, I'm going to add a couple links so you can check out how you can actually help the industry, help the MBA, help MAW, promote the great work they do and get the word out to everyone across the industry to participate. Thank you, Christy. That is awesome. So once again, advocacy in August. Shout out to Margie and to Jamie from MBA for reminding me. And look for a post for me. I'm going to shoot a video and talk about all the great work they do. Okay. We got a bunch of stuff to cover. I'm going to just kind of throw these out there and then we'll do our best to get through it. We've got 2 events that happened this week, at least 2 events. KP, you were at the Western Secondary, the CMB's annual event. Christy, you were at the Housing Wire AI Summit. Courtney, you and I were just slaving away in our offices, nose to the grindstone. So we'll come back to those events. We want to talk about some good news, right? We've seen activity up week over week. Mortgage applications, as reported by the MBA, are up. They were up 11% from prior week. Refis up 23%, and the share of refi up to 46.5% from 41.5%. Purchases were up slightly for the week over week, but the good news there was year over year for the same time period, up 17%. So those are good signs, right? We want to make sure everyone's kind of focused on the good stuff, the positives. And then we had some conflicting news this week around the inflation readings. So we'll get into all of that, guys. Let's start with just what did you guys see for the week? And Christy, I'll let you kind of give us the highlights from Housing Wire, the AI Summit.
Well, I was going to say Polymarket, if you're into the gambling website, not real positive on a big rate cut for next month. I think we're down to, a handful of people voting with their pennies that we're going to see more than a quarter basis, 25 basis point cut next time. But there's quite a number of folks, right? 75% or so of the voters on Polymarket are saying, hey, we're gonna see that 25 basis point cut. So we'll see if that's actually good for the industry. Housing Wire Summit was so much fun. And what's interesting when you think about conferences is you always want them to be well attended. And this one was very well attended. And by well attended, I mean, there was a behind in every single seat. They had to bring in a row of extra chairs. It was full. And then there were people standing, not only in the back of the room, but all the way into the hallway. I'm pretty sure that Clayton was hiding so that they didn't tell him it was a code violation and the fire department was going to kick people out. But it was very, very well attended. And I think from this is the second year they've done this. The first year, it was also well attended. I noticed kind of a shift in the attendees. Last year, it was a lot of very high level senior executives of the companies overall. And the conversation was, hey, what should we be doing about AI? What should we be thinking about AI, right? That's what you heard over coffee and cocktails. This time, you had obviously still senior level folks, but they were more the doers. And it was, hey, this is what we've tried. This is what we've got in work. This is what we're really thinking about. Like, this is how we've seen the results. So what a big shift in just 1 year to who's attending and the topic of conversation, which tells you how important that AI is going to be.
I think that's a good sign that the senior teams, the senior folks that attended last year got value and saw enough value to want their team that's doing the work to be there to be part of the conversation. That's awesome. Yeah,
I think it was absolutely a good sign. And it was also, there were more people that attended this year than last year. And so it was really amazing to see and be a part of that conversation. My couple of takeaways for folks from all the sessions that I was able to sit in, and I think only ended up missing one session because of a call I had to take. But my main takeaways that if you didn't get to go and you haven't yet purchased the replays, were if you're not doing something around AI right now, if you're not having the conversation, then you're really pretty far behind. 2, there are a lot of different AIs that are out there. Take some time to educate yourself on the different types and understand where they fit inside your business model. If you don't know and understand those things and have a plan that's kind of specific to you, there is no, one size fits all answer to this. And so think about what your capacity is, think about how your business model works, and then go get something implemented.
I think too, there was a really good post recently, and stop me if you've heard this one. I'm obsessed with the podcast Diary of a CEO. I don't know if you guys have looked into that at all. Oh, Casey's laughing. That freaks me out a little bit. Anyway, the proprietor of that whole environment hosted a, what's it called when all the tech nerds get together and they try to figure out how to deploy something? Come on, Brian, help me with this.
Wait a minute, you call me a tech nerd?
Yeah, come on.
A hackathon.
Yeah, okay. So he basically hosted a company-wide hackathon with the use of a series of AI tools that they had access to say, how do you make your own job or some of the things that you're doing obsolete? I think that the thing that people think a lot is, well, AI has to be a customer-facing agent. AI has to be this, that. There are so many different uses for these tools to optimize even how everyone at your company uses their calendars or how you clean out your email inbox or any of these other things that can make, 10x yourself, 5x yourself if you can, through the use of these tools. It doesn't make humans not available, because we know what Rick Rubin says about AI. But, I think that, owners of companies should be doing things like hackathons or faux hackathons for its regular folks, so that every single person in your company is thinking about, how can I optimize this moment or some of the tasks that I do on a regular basis that maybe I don't need to do, or maybe makes my work a better quality by using the machines to help us. We don't need to make our jobs go away. I think it's really, really important, particularly in mortgage servicing. Mortgage servicing is really old and tired and very much along the lines sometimes of, well, we've always done it that way. We were talking about an AI use yesterday. We're going live with the mortgage services to just look at the difference between what's in MERS and what's in our system of record in a way that we can look at the whole thing very quickly to know if we have any problems when we're boarding loans. That's AI, right? Yeah. And so I think that AI is this big, giant word that we just have to normalize. So we have to do what Ellen DeGeneres did when she kissed a woman on television, and we just have to make it a normal thing.
Well, I think you bring up a very good point that AI isn't this, it's not this one thing that you do. It is hey, I'm going to look at a specific process and I'm going to have AI look at that. And then I'm going to look at this other one. So you don't just get AI, you have multiple agents if that's the type of process that you're doing. Agents do certain things and they only attack certain systems and processes. I think one of the good conversations was think about AI as an employee. right? What are you hiring that employee to do? And how are you judging their success? How are you compensating them? Because there is a cost. And are they meeting your expectations? And how are you QCing that? Right? Like that, to me, that was a really great takeaway for how do we have to think about it in our daily lives?
KP, talk to us about Terranea Western Secondary.
The California Mortgage Banker Association, they had their Western Secondary, and it was a great event. And it's interesting because, you know, when it's a second run trade show, so like all the vendors that are there that are sponsors, they kind of figured out like, you know, where to go. So they have all their meetings, everything's all dialed in, they're getting villas. And so everyone's kind of going to this dinner and that place. And so it was like, you know, like the New York Secondary, right? And so it's just interesting to hear the dynamic of, you know, Housing Wire AI Summit. You know, it's people are going there to listen to the content.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, the Western Secondary, obviously the content is great and people are listening to the content, but they're also going there to network, right? And so it's like once someone's sitting in a beautiful villa, you know, having meeting after meeting after meeting, like are they going to go back and, you know, watch, you know, I mean, Gary Hall Jr., like an Olympic, you know, 10-time gold medalist swimmer, he spoke. I thought it was fascinating. You know, I was in there watching that session that they put together, and he lost his house in the Pacific Palisades. His 10 medals got melted. I mean, he told this whole story of perseverance and grit and mindset and everything. I mean, I could go on and on, but, you know, attendance was up, sponsorship was up, great venue, good vibe. It was pretty cool. And so, you know, you look at the difference in, you know, like Christy's saying, you know, there were butts and seats, right? Because people aren't going there to meet, you know, have the meeting rooms to the side, you know, like an MBA conference is, right? And so it's more the content, it's content driven. It sounds like it was pretty cool at Housing Wire. And I will say, you know, I'm going to be at NAMBA Connect next week. I have a panel on Thursday. And one of the things that Laura Brandeo, she's moderating. She's awesome. You know, she and I've done that panel for like, I think, gosh, we might be like six years running, maybe 7.
I did one year with you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So I'm, you know, I make an effort to go to that. So one of the things I want to talk about, which kind of ties into this, is like, it ties into the doers on the AI Summit, and then all the actual executives and people with all the money that buy all this stuff at the Western Secondary. How do they come together, right? And so we've been talking about AI, I mean, literally forever. I mean, you guys know, like, I'm a super nerd. I literally have been reading about AI for, I'm not even kidding, for like 25 plus years. It's very popular now because it's a thing, and ChatGPT made it popular, but now we're implementing it. So now it's like, what are we doing? And people, and that's the buzz that I'm hearing, the Christy Hurd AI Summit, and also the buzz I'm hearing from some of the leaders at Western Secondary is people are talking about, okay, this is what's working. Or Courtney was just talking about, you know, we went in there and said, let's go make this obsolete. And so now things are actually working, and it's working at scale. And so we're going to talk about that next Thursday on the panel, at least for a little bit, but I think it ties into our deeper conversation here that, you know, AI is not going anywhere. I've said this quote before. I read it somewhere in one of my subscriptions. It's like, it's way overhyped in the short term, but it's completely overwhelmingly underhyped in the long term. I don't think people realize how much our world is going to change.
I think in mortgage too, we default to fear a lot of times with these things. And because the CFPB issued a circular before it went on pause, you know, about be careful with the consumer usages and you know, if your company is not in the right mindset on these things, yes, you 100% are going to be left in the dust, because you don't need to involve consumer data to optimize your organization through the use of artificial intelligence. And, you know, don't pause.
Yeah, fear is so weak. I mean, I saw some post, and I don't know what it was, but it was basically like, you know, AI is not going to take my sales job ever, something like that. And the picture was like the robot from Terminator, you know, and, you know, And obviously it's eye catching because it made me realize it. But and I actually like to joke around when I poke at people and kind of like, move them along. And, I use that, like Skynet's coming, like as a thing to kind of, talk about the fear. But, it's coming whether you like it or not, because someone's going to do it. You might as well be us and try and figure out how to do it and optimize it the best way possible to help our teams and our communities, or else someone else is going to come in and be disruptive. I'll throw something pretty interesting that I read yesterday. It kind of ties into, it's about disruption, right? I mean, there's this stuff coming out of nowhere and you're like, holy smokes, I didn't know, eVotal. Like, do you know what that is? Do you know what eVotal is? Did you know that you have a helicopter drone that could take off and take you places? Like they're not for public sale, but they're out there. And so, I'm still amazed at how many people, when they get in my car, are absolutely freaked out when I put on full self-driving, like freaked out, like as if they've never heard or seen it. I'm like, it works, it's fine. But go ahead, Christy. You're probably going to say it's because of the way I drive.
Well, I was going to say, if they've ever driven with you when you're driving, they would prefer the self-driving.
I was going to say that it's kind of like freaky the first time, and then you're like, okay, where do I get one of these?
That's right.
Yes, 100%.
So if we take the AI applications down to I always like to take it down to the street level, to the loan officer. And this week, one of my friends, Scott Shang, Scott is he was a mortgage broker, originator for a couple decades, super smart guy. He spent the last probably 2.5, 3 years just digging in and becoming a subject matter expert on AI, but specifically his expertise is around how to talk to and train and create custom GPTs. So we were just messing around, and I was talking to him about a client situation where we had launched a client and we were going through implementation, and the client was really questioning where to start with our particular application. And so Scott, he said, hey, give me 30 minutes with you. I want to interview you as the product owner of our tech, right? Feature, function, benefit, blah, 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 blah. And then he said, if your client will give me 10 minutes to interview them about their business, what they're trying to solve for, I'll create a custom GPT that they can then inquire into. And essentially in about 40 minutes of work or interviews on his part, he did a little bit more work to create the custom GPT. He created this tool now that this client can go in and say, create a business plan. I'm a loan officer in Detroit, Michigan, blah, 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 blah. Create a business plan for me to implement this tool and market it effectively for first-time homebuyers. The output is like, I imagine pre-AI, pre-automation, this is like a month-long process that you would have created this crazy detailed step-by-step business plan. So there's real life applications today that are outside of the loan manufacturing process where everybody in our industry, especially those at the street level, can be and should be using AI to help them really refine their business strategies and their execution on those strategies.
Well, everybody.
That's impressive.
If you're not doing it from just a personal perspective, like if you can't use it at work yet, right? If your company hasn't yet given you in your particular role permission to use it on your internal stuff, and obviously they have to be careful because of MPI, go use it at home. Get yourself a paid version and start creating and using it, because until you get used to figuring out how to do prompts and understanding it, and there is something different about actually doing it than just reading about it. So go actually do something. Let it organize your grocery list. Let it plan your next vacation.
Yeah, no question. All right. Big week with reporting around inflation. Again, kind of we talked about this briefly, but conflicting numbers and results. They're not really conflicting. They're just, they're different. And KP, I love your video this morning. Kind of summarize. I think you had 2 videos this week, kind of giving us an overview. Give us the Reader's Digest version. Everybody that's hearing this, you should be following KP. He puts out awesome industry financial content. He's not a financial advisor. He's not responsible for your losses, only your profits.
Yes.
JP, give us the Reader's Digest.
Well, I would say inflation is sticky, and this report, you've got consumer price index, producer price index. One is what prices paid by the consumer. One is inputs paid by producers. The CPI is pretty high up there in the rankings as it relates to how the Fed says, all right, this is what we think of inflation. PCE is supposedly their number one. It came in just a little less than feared, right? And so it doesn't really bring a lot of certainty, in my opinion, because if the fear is from the Fed, who said we would be cutting if not for tariff uncertainty and how that will impact inflation, so we're going to wait. I don't think they got enough to sink their teeth into on the CPI report. And then, but we'll hear from Chair Powell at Jackson Hole next week. So comments coming out of there will be very important in market moving. And then the producer price index was off the charts high, 0.9% increase month over month. But a lot of that was machinery, and there's like photography equipment or something like that. But also one input that was seen as kind of an anomaly is people who have stock market, people, financial advisors, whatever. If you're at all-time highs and your accounts are at all-time highs and your 401ks or whatever, all your stuff is at all-time highs, so are your fees.
Right.
And so it's not going to be annualized, 72% for the year. So anyway, but if the bond market is largely ignoring this, and if the Fed is still going to cut, it's because they believe that labor is the bigger problem than inflation. And so, with over 260,000 jobs lost in the last 3 months, that's massive. 1.95 million jobs, continuing jobless claims of people, not able to find work, continuing claims. If labor is soft and GDP is weak, then maybe they're just going to be like, whatever, on inflation, we got to cut. But maybe not. I don't know. So, we've got dissenting on the board. We've got board drama. I think they can cut 25 basis points in September and then just pause indefinitely until they figure out what goes on with the data, even if tariffs are lagging. I think that's the compromise. But we'll get some clues next week when they have their meetings in Jackson Hole.
I'm just going to say I want to sign up for a meeting in Jackson Hole. That sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Particularly this time of year to get out of Texas.
Well, do you know what's interesting is the Kansas City Fed is what hosts that. So Kansas City, this is like a meeting, like a traditional meeting. The Kansas City Federal Reserve, there's all these, different, governors and boards. Anyway, they host that meeting traditionally every year, and they host it in Jackson Hole, just like you guys had your TMBA in Oregon.
Get away from the heat.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing like a Michigan Bankers Association with a pool, like
in Frankenmuth.
Right? Yeah, I'm gonna go back to that. I'm never getting over it. I'm never getting over it.
I didn't know they had smoke bars in Frankenmuth.
Photos are leaking out, guys. Make sure you're checking them out.
I don't people realize how cool Frankenmuth is as a town. Like, it's such a cool vibe. I mean, you got to visit at least once, right? It's like Bronner's, right? Is that the restaurant, or Bronner's? Yeah. And then there's the place where you
Bronner's,
what was that one?
Bronner's is
Zender's is the chicken.
Yes, Zender's is the chicken. Yes, it's so cool. Like, you just gotta go check the boxes, buy some trinkets and stuff for your yard. Little gnomes with like headsets on and stuff. Anyway, it's pretty cool.
I think the original restaurant, I think, just had its 90th anniversary, something crazy like that. And then I did a walk one morning, just kind of strolling around town. That family has a lot going on in Frankenmuth still. The local insurance agency is probably one of the great grandkids of the restaurant founder. So, yeah, pretty cool.
Are you saying it's all a hustle and the store is just a front? Dude, you just crushed my Christmas spirit.
Yeah, Bavaria. You are welcome to Bavaria.
The Bavarian Mafia, Brian, or what are we talking about here?
Exactly. Hey, I did forget one shout out, going back to the Mortgage Bankers Association. So this week we learned that the MBA has nominated John Hedlund as the 2026 MBA vice chair. So on the ladder, I think that puts him as the 2028 chair. So
Yep, 27, 28.
yeah. Yeah. So congratulations, John, and congratulations, MBA, and frankly, congratulations to all of us in the industry. What a great leader he will be.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I spent some time with him, and he's pretty fired up about it. He's like vice chairman over at ICE Mortgage Technology, right? So he's helping them. He had he came out and met with us and our leadership team, after the Cotality event. And so, Tim Bowler is fantastic. He's president of ICE, but this helps give, him some more bandwidth having, John there. And so John and I also are on the California MBA board together. So he's a solid pro. It's funny to go from retirement to so many hats in just a matter of a year.
Exactly. Well, guys, we got a few minutes left. Let's kind of whirl around the country here, and everyone get their last word in. Who wants to go first to go last?
Oh, I thought you were looking at the comments. Is that what you meant by whirl around the country? You gonna look at the comments and scour for ideas of things to say?
No, just us. Us.
Oh, okay.
Or you?
Ladies first. We can talk about anything.
I guess the first thing that came to my head is, where's everybody going to be in September? Road season is. I know that a lot of you travel all the time, but I always feel like I travel in the spring and in the fall. So I'm on the road. I'll be in Texas. Loretta is hosting an event. I know I'm working on it. Although alpaca llama is what I learned in Peru. Anyway, I'll be with Loretta. I'm going to the new KP. Maybe you'll be there. The New England Mortgage Bankers Association is focusing on servicing this year. I'm excited to.
Newport.
Us traders really identify with people in the Northeast. We're all like a little bit rough around the edges, so I'm excited to go spend some.
That's
time
a great show.
there. And then Annual's in Vegas this year, guys. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's terrifying. That's almost as terrifying, Jen Peachman, as the swim up bar at the Bavarian Inn.
Well, I will say this. It's at the Fontainebleau, so it's like all the way on the end. So you have to really do some work to want to go party at some. Although I'm sure it'll be fine. We'll find some party.
There are Ubers everywhere.
I know, but it is literally almost as far at the end as you can get. But there's always something to do. Yeah, it's Vegas. People will do what they're going to do.
People will do what they're going to do. I mean, digital mortgages is coming up. You've got, I'm trying to stay off the road a little bit. There's some great events and great things that you can do, but I feel like there's a little bit of time to hunker down and just get some actual work done ahead of the new year. It is budget planning season. It is all the things. And Courtney brought up the CFPB. And if anybody hasn't seen the news, the circuit court in DC actually lifted the stay from the lower court and told Trump that he could go ahead and kind of rearrange the employment levels at the CFPB. So we're probably going to see some changes coming out of that in the very, very near future. Yeah.
Game of Thrones, right? So I guess elections have consequences. I'd like to plug on Digital Mortgage. I think that's a great event, Digimo down in San Diego. But I saw Barry Habib did an interview yesterday with Bill Pulte, and you guys know Barry Habib is he's now on the board for Fannie Mae, and it was a very cool interview. And so Bill Pulte, is he's from the family where, they're a builder, Pulte Homes, but it's funny. He's he goes, oddly enough, I made most of my money in air conditioning. I thought that was kind of an interesting comment that he said. But probably no one knew who he was before he had the FHFA job. And then now, because he's tied to this administration, it's polarizing. He's a polarizing figure. It's political. And just the way he handled it was kind of I'm not, he's like, I'm in DC now, and, things are political. You could tell that it's not his bag, you know what I mean? But what I thought was cool was that he said, when you go around DC, so many people have limiting beliefs, or it's always been done this way, like Courtney says about servicing, or what people are probably maybe not, not even using ChatGPT to make a grocery list, much less, cure cancer, right? And so what Bill Pulte said was that in this administration, there are no limiting beliefs. And if you just think about disruption, I'm not trying to trigger anyone before Friday starts. I'm just saying, like, disruption and believing that, you can do something or achieve something, or like they're going to change Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. They are changing, obviously the CFPB. There's a lot of stuff that they're doing. Whether you agree with how or why they do it, I don't know, but they're doing something. And, my takeaway from Bill Pulte was that DC is it's the swamp. It's the swamp, and people don't do stuff there. So anyway, it reminded me of all the conversations we had today. I thought it was kind of a cool way to finish.
That's a good last word, guys. Well, I hope you all have a great weekend. We appreciate everyone joining us every week live, and for everyone else that catches this as it streams immediately following and through the weekend. Come back next Friday. We'll be right back here on The Last Word, a Chrisman commentary weekly opinion show. See you guys.